All right, y'all, this is the Aventon Level 3 Step 3 e-bike in Sandstone. This is the large model, so this is for anyone 5'7" to 6'1", is what Aventon said on their website, but I love this freaking thing. Aventon did provide it for review, and I can highly recommend it already, not just because I'm making a video on it or anything, but because it's one of the funnest e-bikes I ever had, but there's a few features specifically with this e-bike where I'm like, wow, I wish every e-bike had that. So this is going to be just going over my first impressions after a week. Oh lordy, this is a big box, man. I almost fell over. Man, I gotta say, the color's way better in person than it does look on the photos. That brand new smell. I'm very excited for the fact that this has Magura 2-piston hydraulic disc brakes. There's the seat with the suspension, which is dope. And then over here, looks like we got an accessory box. One of the things I do love about Aventon is they're really good at providing instructional videos to where I don't even really have to make a full assembly video. Huge tip, and I'm glad Aventon mentions this. Make sure you put grease on the axle pin before you put it back into the frame. This is my first time riding tires with the Quick 7.5 Sport Style. This is the 27.5 inch, 30 to 50 PSI. That's freaking dope. All right, this is a pretty bouncy bike with the front suspension. I gotta make adjustments on the seat, but I'm 5'10" without shoes, and this is what it looks like, someone who's 5'10" without shoes on with the large step-through model. I think this is a great height. I mean, it's 67 pounds last I remember, full weight. It's gonna be a breeze riding this thing. I mean, the cool thing is it's my first non-fat tire e-bike, so I wanna see how good it does on the road, but also on trails because the tires are still pretty thick. I gotta make sure the PSI is good with those. Other than that, I freaking already love the way it fits and the way it looks. The only thing is, because of the way this bike is designed, I know I'm gonna feel like I'm leaning forward more than normal, but it is a commuter bike. You know, it's not like a cruiser style bike, which the Cinch 2 that I had really was like a cruising style bike. I mean, I had the handlebars nice and high and I just cruised with that thing. Now the bike does retail at $18.99. It's a class 2 model. It's up to 70 miles in range of the battery life. Payload is 300 pounds. It has a 500 watt motor, 864 watts of peak performance. It has 4G and GPS wireless connection. And it's also got theft deterrence, which I'll get into in the app. Things like a locking mechanism for the rear wheel, password entry, things like that. And first thing I said that I really love about it is actually the theft deterrence on this bike. So the fact that you can do geofencing to detect if anybody takes it out of that range or whatever you determine is the radius, you only will allow the bike to be in before the bike will lock, and it would have the alert system on to notify you. But also the locking mechanism itself on the rear wheel, like just that alone, which I'll get a little bit more detail with when I go through the menu and the settings and stuff. Just that alone is incredible, and I wish more e-bikes included that, given that these e-bikes are not necessarily cheap. You know, $18.99 is a pretty big price tag, no matter how awesome the bells and whistles are for somebody to pay for a bike, and especially if they want to make sure that it's not going to get stolen. You know, so for me, major W on Aventon, including that in this e-bike, not even including anything else like the geofencing, like I said, GPS traction, 4G, or even the fact that you have to enter in a password. And let me just go in some of the B-roll when it comes to how that works when you have the bike lock mechanism turned on. I just wanted to show y'all something really cool about the bike lock. So let's say I'm locking up my bike. You hear the little beeping and the tire get locked. And if you turn your bike off, and then turn it back on, this is what it's gonna do. It's gonna ask you for your password, and then you just enter it. Boom, then it unlocks. That's like one of the best features I've ever seen on an e-bike, period. All right, y'all, it's a little busy, but let's go ahead and do a brake test. So I'm gonna go about 20 miles an hour, and then there's a stop sign up there, and it's gonna be perfect for the brake test anyway. So let me just go ahead and pedal now. This is on turbo mode. Obviously the gear is all the way on the highest. Dang, that was quick. I mean, that from 20 miles an hour to a full stop, that is bananas. And that's all thanks to the hydraulic brakes. Now, even though I have a tendency to kind of squeeze really hard because I'm thinking about it's the mechanical brakes difference versus hydraulic, it's hard to not do that because you don't need the squeeze on the brakes that hard at all for them to stop. Number one was security features. Number two is definitely the comfortability. So the fact that it has a suspension seat post, that thing is so comfortable. And I would recommend the seat in general with the materials it's made out of and how grippy I feel on the road with the handlebars, the design of the e-bike, the tires, even when it comes to the quick 7.5 Sport tires. These tires are incredible for trails. I mean, I rode them on dirt paths. Obviously, I did not take this thing on a mountain or something like that, but mostly on the road, like 80% of the time, if it wasn't trails or anything like that, like dirt roads and stuff. And it handled everything well. I mean, I didn't feel any discomfort with this e-bike at all. I mean, it's more comfortable than even my Cinch 2, which has suspension in the front for the payload, no matter how I adjusted it. But it's not as comfortable as this. That seat post makes such a major difference. But it's overall the design of the bike. I mean, I was taking turns really sharply. Anytime I went fast, I just felt so secure. Like, security is that main word I keep bringing up with this bike. Next thing is battery life. Now, it says up to 70 miles in range, but my daily commute has been about 7 to 8 miles, depending on where I go. And that's just like going to work, going to the coffee shop, like doing basic errands. I bought a basket for this bike that's not showing, but because I wanted to just try to show the bike in full. But the thing is, with battery life, I feel like it's a little bit more than 70 miles because I've gone easily 3-4 days going 8 miles a day and the thing's still at like 75%. And I'm like, how is that even possible? So we'll see like how accurate it is over time. Again, it takes time. It takes a lot of tracking, a lot of data to see how consistent and how well the battery life will last overall, because batteries do deplete in time and power over time. You know, it's not like they stay perfect from the day you bought it after a few months. And as far as the braking goes, this is my first time using a bike or having a bike with hydraulic brakes. And the biggest thing I noticed compared to cable brakes or mechanical brakes is with mechanical brakes, typically the harder that you squeeze, you know, the harder the braking power is going to be. But hydraulic brakes, what they do is they use fluid. So there's fluid in this chamber right here, and it equalizes the pressure and gives you more reliable, stronger stopping power. And I feel like there was a couple of times where I squeezed really hard and I noticed the brake kind of squeaking a little bit weird. And so I think it's because I'm messing with the cables when I do that. But the hydraulic brakes are phenomenal. You know, you just got to squeeze with the same pressure every time and you just stop so quickly. What it's time to do is it's time to do a hill test. So I'm going to keep it on sport mode. I might adjust the gear. I might be a weakling and adjust the gear one level down, but we're just going to see how well it does and I'll give my honest opinion on that. Starting from basically at the bottom of the hill. So let's make it happen. And I'm telling you, this e-bike is harder to pedal than the foldable step through. But all right, so I'm pedaling pretty good. And so far, I mean, 17 miles an hour up a hill, that is crazy. That is crazy. A hill this steep too. Man, only with an e-bike, I'm telling you. All right, I might, because I haven't started getting out of breath yet. But all right, it's gonna get steeper up here, so I'm gonna go down one gear. Maybe two. Wow. This thing is crushing it. I mean, 18 miles an hour up a hill. There's no way I could do this with a regular bike. I don't have that kind of endurance, y'all. Absolutely not. Whew. Whistle. All right, baby, we did it. That was steep. It may not look steep, but to give you an idea, just look out in front of me. Let's look at the display in the internal settings when you hold the plus and minus button down and you get into the main menu. So you can clear a trip, you can battery lock, bike lock, you can look at the display unit in miles per hour or kilometers per hour, and you have your brightness, you have auto power off, so the bike turns completely off after a certain amount of time. You can go ahead and determine that for yourself. I have it at 10 minutes. You have a password, which is dope, because if you turn that on, you can go ahead and click and determine what you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all lefts to make it easy. And then boom. Now, every single time I want to ride my bike, I have to enter my password. And that even goes for if you're gonna lock the bike, which, let's hear what that sounds like. All you got to do is click the power button. Sorry, I'm not showing that. And it will lock it. So you heard it make that noise and you heard it lock. Now, this is what it looks like. Even if somebody were to turn your bike on somehow without a password and they try taking off with it, it's going to do this. So you heard it lock, and it's not going anywhere. And if I tried using the throttle or any electronic components, it says bike locked or battery unlocked, e-assist off. So somebody's gonna have to carry it if they want to steal it, and that's if you don't even track them down with the app. You know what I'm saying? As far as the lights go, the lights, and this is a first impression, so I'll do more digging at night and stuff like that. I know this is during the daytime, but either way, like, I'll show some b-roll of what it looks like at night. The lights are plenty bright. There's only one flaw I realized, and it has nothing to do with the turn signals or the lights or anything like that. It's just, I noticed for the first time in my experience with the e-bike, when you hit the brakes, the lights do not turn on. So I'm gonna hold the left paddle shifter, the lights don't turn on. But I love when that happens. I love when an e-bike has that available because it notifies you. Like Haybike did it. Also Aventon did it on their older models, but they didn't do it on this one. That's like the only flaw with the lights I'd say I'm having a problem with, because it helps, especially at night, or especially just even during the day. People see the lights flashing. It's just like a car. They know, oh, this person, it just gives that subconscious signal that you're stopping. So that's a little tour of the controls. Other things I want to talk about that I actually really love about the bike, I can't say enough of, is the suspension post, which I'll show some b-roll right here of just what it looks like when you sit on it. But I want to say, when it comes to the suspension post, my best advice is do it a little bit higher than your waist. Do it a little bit higher than your waist, because if you do it lower at your waist or lower, obviously, or even at your waist, when you sit on the seat, it's going to sink down a little bit. And then now you're going to feel like your pedal stroke isn't good enough. So just do it a little bit higher than normal. And I'm telling you, it's the most comfy ride on a bike. You feel so secure on this bike. That's the best way I can explain this bike. Things to mention about the batteries: you can eject it through the settings on the bike itself or through the app, or you could just charge the battery through a little port on the bottom. And the charging port has a little latch that locks it in place. So just remember that when you're trying to pull the charging cable out, that don't try to yank it out. There's nothing wrong with your bike. It's just you got to push this little lever button and then it will come out. And I've been letting it charge overnight. So in my full review, as I can track it more in depth, even though it's only been a week, I haven't been tracking it in depth. I know it's not going to charge super quickly. You know, it's not a cell phone. So make sure, like, if you're at 10 to 20%, just remember to charge it overnight for sure. Because if you're dependent on this thing for work and whatnot, 30 minutes, I mean, it'll give you somewhat of a charge, but it's not going to give you, 50% in 30 minutes from 20%. You know what I'm saying? So just be worried, and I'm talking to people that are new to e-bikes. I'm trying to really break this down like at a first grade reading level, because I'm still really new to e-bikes. I'm not one of these channels that is the head honcho expert of e-bikes. I'm going by experience and really how the product feels, more than just getting super technical, because you can find all the information online if you want to go super in depth, which I usually do, again, in the more in-depth videos. Now, a couple of flaws, just the way this came out of the box, is when it comes to putting together the front handlebars and the front wheel, man, that was a lot of work. I kind of wish these bikes would just come like as they are, like pre-built, but I know that's really difficult because of the packaging. It's just sometimes you can have issues adjusting the steering column properly, or the post and the handlebars. Like, it takes a lot of, you got to really make sure it's on there securely, because if it's not, you run the risk of the wheel going crooked and stuff like this. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people who may not know like how much you really have to torque and tighten that e-bike, even though there's an instructional video on how to do it and it comes with the tools. Still, it's very important, especially with the e-bike. You're going fast on this thing. Like, you don't want to have any issues with steering when you're going 21 miles an hour. It's faster than you think, even though you get used to it. So I really love this e-bike. Those are some of my thoughts with my first impressions with it. And I think this bike is going to last a very long time in terms of usage, in terms of battery life, and in terms of even software updates. But when it comes to the lighting, I don't like the front light and I don't like the back lights in terms of you don't get lights that go bright when you hit the brakes, right? The brakes do not get enabled when you hit the brakes like my other Aventon Cinch 2 e-bike does. When you hit the brakes, the lights go on. And I think that's really cool, especially at night or during the day, is because it just lets people know, like, yeah, you're stopping. Like, people already have that conscious awareness of knowing when lights come on, that means you're slowing down. And this one didn't do it by default. So I got to look more into the app or find a way to see if they can do a software update to enable that. But of course, when the lights are on at night, they're plenty bright and whatnot. I just don't like the way the front light looks. It has that square look. And I think Hey Bike does a better job with lights on the front, and also other models from what I've seen. That's like the only, like that's probably the biggest flaw with any Aventon bikes is the way the lights look. But I don't know, as you saw on the B-roll, I mean, you let me know. I mean, the turn signals are plenty bright. The lights are plenty bright. It's just that front headlight. So those are some of my thoughts with my initial first impressions. And the thing that's so dope about having an e-bike that really changed my life when I got my first Aventon Cinch 2 is it really changes your perspective on getting around town. Like, no more having it, especially if you live in a city. There are risks, like your bike getting stolen easier, especially if you're leaving it somewhere throughout the night, like if you're meeting with friends or going out to dinner or something. But still, with a bike like this, you just have to worry less about it as long as you have the theft deterrence on as well as a good lock. But to me, it's like, man, having an e-bike changed how I get around, my dependency on my car, and really the enjoyment of actually being outside. Like, even if we think about how we just don't do that enough anymore, you know? And so for me, it gets me outside more. I don't have to worry about breaking a sweat when I'm going to the coffee shop or just going to the grocery store. It makes life a heck of a lot easier, you know, to really just get around. Especially if you live in a congested area like I do. So that's it for my first impressions video of this e-bike. I freaking love this thing. Again, I'll always update and have the best price in the link below. And thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in about 30 days for a full-length review, a more in-depth review of how this thing has been holding up. So until then, I hope you're enjoying life. Stay healthy, stay well, and I'll see you guys on the next one.